and welcome to my December wrap-up. Again, I'm sorry that this video is so late in the making. I know I promised that I'd try harder to get more videos out, but I think a couple of videos ago I said how Christmas had been really bad and my life was a bit of a mess, and it's kind of just gone from bad to worse. I mean, I swear I'm cursed or something. It's been ridiculously horrible. So uh, yeah, not really had the kind of momentum and will to make videos, but I will try harder because you're all lovely and I like sharing my book thoughts with you, so okay. Now the first book I read in December was Wuthering by Emily Brontë. Now this is the first book I read by the Brontë sisters, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I quite liked how it was very atmospheric and dark, and it was perfect read for winter because we had some really horrible cold windy weather when I was reading this, and it just really sort of fed into that kind of atmosphere of the book, so yeah, I really liked that. I did find some parts of the book a little problematic, and I will go over them now, but try not to give any spoilers, but I think this book is pretty well known, so, but if you're a bit worried about spoilers, perhaps skip ahead to my next books. My first problem was with how Heathcliff is represented. I don't think he's really given a fair chance. I mean, it's kind of very, I don't know, two-dimensional, like he is bad because he is obviously from gypsy stock and that must mean he is bad or something. They never really gave him a fair share, and I'm guessing that's the point, the fact that he had quite a hard upbringing. He was sort of living on the streets and then he's brought into this family who resented him, but I don't know, I just found it a little bit kind of, they didn't show another side to him, although he obviously loved Kathy. I don't know, it just seems like they didn't build up on his character more than the fact that, of course he was going to be horrible because he's a gypsy. I don't know if this is sort of the time, I mean it probably is, but I don't know, I thought it was kind of lazy. It's just, he did have some people that cared for him, there was no excuse for him to be the way he was completely. I understand that there's things that happen in the book that make him bitter and angry, but the level he takes it to and the reasons they give for it, I just think don't really wash with me. My other main problem is the fact that when Kathy gets angry, it could kill her. And I think this is kind of, big in these kind of stories where women, if they show any kind of strong emotions, then they must be crazy, and she's pretty much locked in a room and bedridden, and it does, I just found that a bit frustrating. It's like she's quite a strong character, why would her being angry make her so sick? Why would it threaten her life in such a way? I mean, okay, she could be mentally unstable or something, but that's not going to, she's just not going to die from that in a fever or something. So I didn't really like that part. And another bit I didn't like, there is 2 pregnancies in this book, and you only find out about this on the day the babies are born. And I find that really strange. I don't know if I missed this leading up to it, any hints of the fact that these 2 women could be pregnant. But yeah, I just found that really odd that it's suddenly an afterthought, oh, and there's some babies born. I don't know why that. But I did think it is a good story. I mean, nobody in this book is likeable really. They've all got quite character faults in some way or of another. Obviously, Heathcliff and Kathy are going to be the worst. The main person I really disliked in this book was Nellie. She was sort of the housekeeper, and most of the story is told via her, where she's telling it to the new tenant, Mr. Lockwood. But really, she's quite a horrible character. I think a lot of people, I've seen a lot of reviews where people are saying that, oh, she's nice and stuff, but she's not at all. She's stirred so much of this trouble, and it's very much in, you're getting the story through her opinions and through her eyes. It's not an unbiased view of what's happening between Heathcliff and Kathy and the families involved. It is very much her view, and that's fine, obviously, but I find it surprising that some people find Nellie to be a nice character, but it's because it's quite clear although she claims to care for Kathy and the others in the book, she drops them quite quickly, or she stirs up trouble for them and has very little empathy for what is going on. So yeah, I really didn't like her. Did anyone else feel the same way about this? I did have a lot more notes on this book, but being so incredibly unorganised as I am, I've lost them, and now I can't remember clearly enough more about the story because I read this right at the beginning of December, and that feels like an age ago now. But apart from all my moaning about it, I did actually really enjoy it. I liked that it was dark, I liked that it was broody, and these people just, you know, just so tortured souls and quite crazy in the end. You know, they really, they took it's sort of like the arrogance that they took this to. If they had just backed down or just talked to each other, this could have been solved. But yes, I did really enjoy this book, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And the second book I read was Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. This is the first time I've read any Dickens, and it's, you know, my first time reading A Christmas Carol, although I know the story very well. Obviously from all the, I like the musicals that thing, and the Christmas Muppet musical, and I don't know, I've seen so many versions of this story. I kind of put off reading it thinking, well, I wouldn't need to, what I wouldn't enjoy it. I've had my reservations about reading Dickens, as I wasn't sure I'd really enjoy it. I'm much more into sort of American fiction rather than English fiction authors, but I did. I loved this book. I'm surprised how much I enjoyed it considering how well I already knew the story. But it's not. It's funny. I didn't expect it to be so funny. I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Sticking with the Christmas theme, you may have seen this in my Christmas haul video, but the third book I read was A Zombies Christmas Carol, and this was a sort of unusual take on the story of the Christmas Carol, and it was quite interesting to read this straight after reading the original Christmas Carol because it was still very fresh in my mind, and sort of see if they'd used any of the lines in this book. They use a couple, but mainly they've gone on their own sort of way of this. I showed some pictures before of the artwork in this. I really love this book. I mean, it's quite silly as you would expect. I mean, it is zombies. One thing they did is when he is visited by the first ghost of Christmas Past, they changed the artist. So for the flashback scenes, it's a different style of illustration going on. What I think is a really kind of clever way to do it, but I didn't like the drawing style as much as the rest of the book. So although I liked the idea, I preferred the rest of the book just for aesthetic reasons. So yeah, I found this quite a fun read, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. And the last book I read in December was Marvel Zombies Destroyed. Again, I mentioned this in my haul because I think when I did the haul video I had already read this. With all the Marvel zombies, it's normally a different story each time, sometimes carrying on from the last one, other times whole new universes, or different, you know, different dimensions. So but normally you get a few superheroes that have been turned into zombies, and sort of zombies with superhero powers, that's quite extreme, you know, they're really gonna up the death toll on that. This one was based in a parallel universe or another dimension where the Nazis had won the war, and the reason they had won the war is because they had turned themselves into zombies. And so the superheroes in this, they travel to that dimension and they go kick some Nazi butt. Really ridiculous but enjoyable, and I think I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. So that was my December wrap up. I'm sorry that some of the reviews weren't as concise as they could have been. Next time I will do better to write notes down and remember where I've put them. If you've read any of these books and agree or disagree with what I've said, please leave a comment. Also, please like this video and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!